thing on. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my channel. Yes, I cut my bangs and I kind of styled them. They still need to grow into like a good shape, but so far I'm really impressed and I did it myself. I've been cutting my own hair since the last 4 years. Mostly because nobody really knows how to cut curly hair. I have naturally curly hair, which I love, but it's been a process and I can never find anybody who can cut my hair, so I learned how to cut it myself. Anyways, moving on. Today I wanted to give advice to the graduating class of 2022. I thought that it was a really appropriate time since so many people are graduating, whether it's high school or college or grad school, but by then I think you kind of know what you're doing. I graduated high school back in 2009. I am 31 years young, even though I feel like I am a very strong 56 inside, just from the experiences that I've had. I didn't learn until later that feeling like an old soul really was a trauma response to a childhood where you were kind of forced to grow up. And I was forced to grow up mainly because I come from a immigrant family. So my parents migrated to the US and they spoke very little English, and so the kids that they had, myself included, we were parentified, and basically they depended on us for their everyday needs, for everyday survival, basically. When I graduated high school back in 2009, I was the commencement speaker. I'm very proud of that moment. When I graduated, I also already had a plan to attend the University of Colorado at Boulder, go Buffs, and I was just beyond thrilled to go, mostly because I was ready to leave the supervision and strictness of my parents' household, and I kind of just wanted that time not only to learn, because I loved learning, I loved school, but also just to have my own freedom. And I ended up at CU Boulder. It was the best experience. I could not have asked for a better outcome. As I've gotten older, there are some things that I wish I would have sought advice on from mentors, or just sought mentors in general. That being the major that I picked, I kind of wish I wouldn't have stuck with that. I wish I would have done something else, but it doesn't really matter anymore because I ended up being an aspiring actress, and now I'm working towards fulfilling those goals of working in the film and TV industry, so it doesn't even matter. It was just a very expensive therapy session for me that I needed. No regrets. No regrets, because everything happens for a reason, but I do think about that sometimes. It would have been more helpful. But anyways, I wanted to give some tips or advice for the graduating class of 2022, and these are mostly, I guess, for women, but they can also be applied to men as well, because they are coming from kind of my experience and what I went through and figured out. But hey, if you relate to it, then take it. Go ahead. My first one is on education. It's okay not to go to college right after high school. And it's okay if you end up waiting years, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, to decide to enter college for the first time. It does not matter. Sometimes going into a trade school is actually better than going into a 4-year university. Why? Because you're already learning what you want to do, very fast-paced, very cheap, and you get out of it having a career and having sometimes zero debt and making more money than somebody with a bachelor's degree. Really do the research on what you want to major in or what you want to study. I studied ethnic studies. My original plan was to study political science, which I ended up having that as my minor so that I could go into law school right after. But it wasn't until I studied abroad in Italy the spring semester of my junior year that I realized that I loved film. I had been doing musicals and plays all of my high school years, and actually younger than that, and performing. And I loved it, but sometime in my high school years, there was a teacher that kind of gave me advice against going for a program in like musical theater or something like that. And I was doing speech and debate at the time, and I was really good at it, and I loved debating. I was good at it. I won awards. And so I thought that naturally it would be a really good idea for me to go into law, which I still have a passion for, but don't want to do. So I ended up majoring in ethnic studies, and that turned out to not give me much of an option for careers when I graduated. Again, it doesn't matter. It did teach me a lot about myself and my identity, and it taught me a lot of injustices and race relations and stuff like that is now pretty trendy, and I could talk about that forever. Not gonna happen in this video. Besides the therapy that I feel like I received, I did not find much value unless I was to want to go into education, which I didn't, and go into being a professor and teaching that, or doing something else related to that, which I don't want to. So really do your research on what you want to do. I wish I would have really thought about what was going to be useful for me in terms of getting a good job and how competitive that field was and how much debt I was going to accrue and, you know, stuff like that. I would have probably gone into computer science or business, marketing, something like that, because I think it would have helped me a lot sooner tackle a lot of what I've tackled in the last couple of years and presently. Does that make sense? If you're someone that doesn't have a lot of money, I came from no money, and you may be someone too who maybe applied to your dream schools, got rejected, do not worry. The world is not ending. I wish another part of me would have enrolled in community college, gotten scholarships, probably stayed at home if I could have. I couldn't back then because we didn't really have many programs, but now my hometown does. And I wish I would have enrolled to get my core classes out of the way, paid for, saved money by living with my parents, but back then they were not the same people they are now. I don't think I could have gotten along with them back then like I do now, or even like my younger sisters do now. But I wish I would have gotten my core classes out of the way, debt covered, part-time job, rent-free, and then I would have transferred to a 4-year institution and completed the rest of my 2 years, the rest of my degree. I think when people do that, that's probably one of the smartest things you can do. And while you may want to compare yourself to other peers or people in your life that did end up going to university like straight after, I promise you it's gonna pay off, and you're gonna be the one with a killer job, little debt, and you're gonna be far more advanced than someone else who would have probably done the 4-year university traditional journey. Okay, and if you're somebody that just really wants to make money but also have some sort of credibility, I think it's a great idea to go into boot camps, so coding boot camps or some other type of fast track educational system to get your credentials or certifications instead of going again into a 4-year institution to get the same thing. I have heard that a lot of times going to these boot camps, they are actually teaching you far more advanced things than a computer science or engineering program at a university would, because you're learning in real time, and it's people who are working in the field, and they're not necessarily just professors who are not working in the field and their full-time job is just to be a professor. And a lot of these times you can get certifications through Google or Facebook or other programs, and you can get a lot of free money. You can get scholarships, grants, especially if you are a person that is under the underserved community. So if you are a woman of color, a minority, person of color, or any person who really falls into the traditionally underserved communities, then I would say go for it, get that money, get your certifications, and be on your way to making six figures right out of high school. Or if you've already gone to college and hate your major, cannot find any jobs, go do that. The next one, and it kind of goes into education, is on careers and jobs in general. I just want you to know that it is okay to feel lost, to feel like you haven't found your perfect fit, to feel like you hate your job, to just not be sure of what you want to do. You are really young. And even if you are not, even if you're someone who is way older, it still doesn't matter. I think what we tell ourselves is what society pressures us to believe, and we end up believing it, and that is that if you didn't fall in line with a traditional path, that we somehow are broken or worthless, which is such a lie. And why would you want to be doing the same as other people, especially if it doesn't make you happy? So just know it is okay to switch jobs. It is okay to switch careers or fields, and it is okay to burn some bridges. Just don't burn all of them. My advice, especially for creatives and entrepreneurs, you can learn from my experience. And something that I wish I would have done way earlier is gotten into the service industry or jobs that were there for me to pay the bills but gave me enough flexibility to work on my creative and entrepreneurial stuff. And in today's day and age, the gig economy has blossomed. It's not perfect, but I would argue the same for a 9-to-5 job, and sometimes they can be even more hindering to your success and growth. So if you are somebody that just has a dream, ambitions that are just bigger than the traditional career trajectory, then I would say get yourself signed up for gigs and work those gigs and have the flexibility and free time, and also know that you are going to be mentally more free to be working on your creative stuff, because you won't be bringing work home, or because you will know that working a 9-to-5 job is going to be really limiting and it's going to be adding stress, and you cannot have that because it's going to burn you out, and then you won't have the energy, the ambition, the dreams, or anything to continue working on your awesome idea or entrepreneurial side hustle. On finances, if you can, purchase a gas efficient vehicle, and do not purchase a brand new vehicle, for the love of God. If you have enough money saved up, then go ahead and purchase that vehicle from a private owner. But if you don't, a really good idea is to purchase a pre-owned vehicle from a dealer. If you don't have any credit and your parents are willing to co-sign, do it. If you know you're going to be making the payments every month, you have a job, you have parents with good credit, then I would say do it. Not only is this going to help you advance in life, but it's also going to start building your credit that you're going to need for future purchases, or if you do decide to buy a home or a condo or whatever else, or even rent. That's going to be huge. If you still need to build credit, another good thing to do is take out a credit card that has just a couple $100s of spending limit on it. That way you don't go over, and that way you're not tempted to use it to purchase bigger things or vacations or any of that stuff that you do not need. Credit cards are evil, but in a way they are kind of essential if you use them correctly. And by that, only use them for emergencies, or only use them to purchase gas or groceries, and keep it at a minimum. That way you know you have enough money to pay it off every month, and it builds credit for you. Don't live above your means. I know with social media and just the pressures of keeping up, a lot of people end up making purchases on ridiculous things just to feel like they're part of it. Don't feel pressured to do that. Or don't buy clothes that are designer or brand related that are expensive, because nobody gives a fuck. No one cares, and you shouldn't. You should be confident enough to just wear something basic or plain that's gonna get the job done. If you can, make your own coffee at home. Purchase your own alcohol at the store and consume it at home. Don't go out and eat all the time. Cook more. Of course, go out, have experiences, but have a budget for how many drinks you're gonna have at the bar and the tip. On friendships and overall relationships, I know that you think you have your best friends already figured out and you already have your friend group, right? Well, let me tell you, it's not gonna be for long. 90% of them are not gonna make it 5 years from now. They will not be friends with you, you will not be friends with them. People change. You change. You should. Growth is great. Know that people come and go into your life, and it's gonna happen for the rest of your life. Find a solid group of friends, people that align with your values, goals, and are also as ambitious as you are. People that are not threatened by your success, threatened by what you wear, what you look like. People that are very secure with themselves. People that will motivate you, challenge you, and be your biggest supporters. If you do end up going to college, it's probably gonna be the easiest time for you to meet the most amount of people. You're gonna be meeting so many new friends. You're gonna probably be dating, depending on who you are, a lot. And then after that, that's when things change. So if you are somebody that just graduated college, be prepared to have probably the next year or next couple of years be a really crazy time. You're gonna be having a series of identity issues. Why? Because you were so used to having the structure of school. You knew you were going to classes, you knew the same people, you probably lived in the same place, same town. You had a couple of years to just adjust. And people do really well, for the most part, following a structure. I know I did. Your whole identity was just that of being a student. I am so sorry, but it is about to change. You're gonna probably move to a new city, and it is gonna be scary. It's gonna be isolating, and it's gonna be lonely. I attempted to move to LA when I graduated college. Let me tell you, for different reasons, I ended up leaving LA in like a month and a half. But the time that I was there was beyond lonely, beyond isolating. If I would have stuck it through and found a community, I think things would have been different and I would have phased out of that. And if I would have gotten a new job, because back then I was working remotely from home, which was a pretty new concept for 2013. Now it's not. If I would have had coworkers and just gone into a physical building, it would have been different. But back then, it added to the isolation. So just know, if you are a college student just graduating, hang in there. It does get better, and then it gets a little bit tough, but not as bad as what you're about to experience. And I wish I could tell you that it doesn't suck, but it does. But just know that if you commit to building your new identity outside of college, it will get better. Social media is fake. Everybody should know that if they don't already. My gosh, have you seen the freaking filters? I feel like every time I go on, because I got Instagram back again, follow me if you want to. But I feel like Every single picture I see is just a new filter. Don't be upset, but if you are somebody that's building something, if you're ambitious, just know that most of the time, strangers are going to be more supportive than your actual so-called friends and family until you make it. Don't be upset if they don't share your product or share your progress or cheer you on. Working quietly on something is probably the best thing to do until it's launched, until you have progress to show for it. And then around that time, you really won't care if people that you know will share it or like it or be supportive of it. And then when you make it, people will start coming out of nowhere that did not support you, were not there during the journey, and all of a sudden be as supportive as they possibly can. Don't take it personal. Just keep moving on. People will be threatened because people by nature are insecure, just as you probably will be at some point. I know I was. Learn to set boundaries. Learn to distance yourself from even family members who may not have the best intentions, who are also working through some issues of their own. It has nothing to do with you, and you shouldn't have to put up with it. Say no to things you don't want to do. Say no to events you don't want to attend. Your time is precious, and you will not get it back. 5 years from now, you may have done something that you will regret. So avoid that. Avoid giving people too much time that you need for yourself. And learn to move on. As I said, people are gonna come and go into your life forever. Learn to forgive and forget. The sooner you do this, the better it's gonna be on you, on future friendships, and just everything else. And if you can, find older people to befriend that have really good values and ambition. And they will probably love to share a lot of what they went through with you. On love and relationships, date often. Don't settle for less or compromise what you believe in or what your values and morals are just to make someone else happy. Don't stay with someone who cheats on you. Trust me, it's not gonna get better. Even if you do stay and both of you decide to work on things, you're always gonna have that in the back of your head, and it's gonna hinder your relationship moving forward. And ultimately, it's gonna hurt it. Because you may end up just constantly replaying it, resenting your partner, and hurting your growth, and being just a bitter, insecure person. And no one wants to deal with that. Don't stay if they're abusive. Red flags. Controlling, manipulating, jealous. They isolate you from friends and family. Number 5, there's a lot of red flags, but I would also say watch how they treat people who work in the service industry or hospitality. And this goes for you dating someone brand new as well. Watch how they treat somebody at a restaurant. How they talk to the server or bartender or whoever it is. How they may act around people who have labor-intensive jobs. That's gonna be your answer. Don't have children out of selfish reasons. Don't allow your partner to be the only breadwinner. This might be a little bit controversial, but hear me out. If you end up getting married or just being in a serious relationship with somebody and you move in together and you have a household together, whether that's after high school or college, and they tell you that they are going to be the breadwinner, for you not to worry about it. Don't. Even if it's the best intentioned person. This will cause issues, whether it's tension, whether it's guilt, whether it's resentment, or whether it's just straight up abuse. Even if you're somebody that does not want to work, is okay being taken care of by your partner, good on you. But hear me out. Find a hobby or a project that you're really passionate about and use the flexibility and stability that you are getting from that person to build this hobby or passion project or whatever you're doing, to be a side hustle and just have a little bit of money coming in. Any type of income. Don't 100% rely on the other person to take care of every financial need. Also, you may not be prepared. This person who is taking care of everything may end up losing their job, and then both of you may be in a position where you are struggling financially. But if you end up putting energy into that passion project or hobby and getting income off of it, that might be your saving grace for both of you. And then the other reason is you may be in a controlling situation where your partner really just wants to control what you do, and that's not good because that's abuse. And then you may be in a situation where you're stuck, literally stuck in an abusive situation with no money, no credit, nothing, and you cannot get out of it. Don't do that. Find a partner, a best friend. Don't seek someone just for romance or passion. That's gonna fade. What isn't gonna fade is someone who shares the same values and ambition as you do. Find someone who also has ambition and is working towards something themselves, not just you. Don't give 50-50. Give 100-100. Have your own identity and personality apart from this person. Have your own friends. Have your own hobbies. Have your own space. Don't be codependent. On health, if you can and you can afford it, get health insurance. If at the minimum you don't have health insurance, but you can afford a couple of doctor visits, do make sure to schedule visits to see your gyno every year, eye doctor or dentist. And if you're sick, go to a clinic. If you can't afford to go to the emergency room, don't think about it. Still go. Go. And then figure out how to pay for it later. Most of the time, if you show evidence that you cannot afford emergency room bill, there are programs that can help you pay for it, even reduce it. Seek professional help, not the internet or hundreds and hundreds of YouTube tutorials that promise to change anything from acne, scars, the random hairy patch that you started growing on your thigh, anything. Seek professional help. Why? Because you may end up hurting that issue even more by self-diagnosing or following advice that works specifically for that person but not you or a group of people, or you get my point. Seek professional help. Listen to your body. If something is not going right, you know best. Even if you go to the doctor and they dismiss it and they say that nothing's wrong, continue seeking out other professional opinions. You never know. You could have a freaking tumor. You could be gluten intolerant, hello, and not even know that you are. Whether that's joining a sport, joining a gym, Pilates class, cycling, going on a walk with your friend, going on a walk with your dog or your cat, hiking, whatever it is, be active. On mental health, seek a professional. Again, don't self-diagnose. Get off of the TikTok trends, people. Stay off social media. Delete it. Throw it away if you can. Or just limit your use. I really do think that social media is the cause of a lot of these mental health issues that we're seeing trending right now with our society. I really do. Exercise, limit alcohol, get better sleep, drop toxic people, maybe even family. Quit your toxic job, read more books, give back to your community, seek a healthy community, don't compare yourself to others. I think those are all little things that can positively affect your mental health and well-being. On beauty and self-care, wear sunblock. Whatever you do, wear sunblock. I wasn't wearing sunblock until I moved to New Mexico. The first year and a half that I lived here in New Mexico, I started getting hyperpigmentation on this cheek. Never had that issue in Colorado. I didn't know it was happening. Through a series of different discoveries, I realized that one of the culprits was that the sun here is really harsh and the quality of air is really bad. And I was not wearing sunblock. I started using sunblock every single day and my skin has improved dramatically. Also, my skin has improved because of other things that I've been doing. I don't drink as much alcohol anymore. I found out that I am gluten intolerant and I have limited 90% of gluten in my diet. I'm also drinking more water with electrolytes because I get easily dehydrated. I have gut issues and I think that kind of correlates. I started consuming more probiotics and my skin has just been better. With that being said, wash your face, take off your makeup, do not go to sleep with makeup on. Oh my gosh, do not. Even if you come stumbling in at 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk, remember to take your makeup off. Guys, clip your toenails. Girls, if that's an issue, please clip your toenails. Stop biting your nails or stop chewing on them. Put lotion on your feet and your elbows. Exfoliate. Shower. Please shower. Wash your sheets. Wash your towels. Clean your apartment. Clean your house. If you can't afford it, hire a housekeeper. Tip them, please. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to end with some advice on not being an asshole. Always tip 18 to 20% on any service industry or hospitality service that you receive. So if you're going to a restaurant, if you are ordering food through Grubhub or DoorDash, or ordering groceries through Instacart or Shipt or any of those delivery services, please tip. Don't be an asshole. Especially if you live in an apartment. Oh my goodness, please tip. Use your blinker to indicate that you are turning. Do not cut people off while you're driving, please. Leave a tip for housekeepers. Don't trash your hotel room. Be honest. Don't be a bystander to crimes. Travel often and make experiences. Learn to forgive and move on from others that hurt you in the past. And just accept that you probably will never get an apology from them. And that's on them. Be present. Take probiotics and multivitamins. Drink more water. Spend more time with family and friends that really matter. Follow your dreams. Don't ever be in a situation where you may regret not doing something. If you don't want to get married, that's fine. If you don't want to have kids, that's also fine. I think that's about it. Oh my gosh, there's so much more that I could talk about, but this video is already way too long. And if you stuck till the end, thank you so much. I know I talk a lot, but I truly, truly, truly do have so much to talk about when it comes to life and just choices that I've made. And also things that I have tried. I have tried so many different things. I feel like I've lived 10 different lives. But anyways, I'm rambling, so I'm gonna just leave you and enjoy whatever parties that you are still going to. I don't know if people are still graduating, but enjoy it. Enjoy hanging out with your friends this summer. If you are going to college in the fall, enjoy it. Make new memories. Enjoy hanging out with people before they move to a new city or you move to a new city. And I wish you luck. And know that I am cheering for you. I am your biggest supporter. And I will see you in the next one.